Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud.
And David Lauer.
And we're here to talk about All Stars 4. We haven't covered this at all this season, but we're going to give it an overview of sorts. I have very little notes. All I have are every cast member from first to leave to last to leave, aka the winner. And I kind of have like who defeated them and in what, but that's it. So if we want to go through the season like that
Okay.
real quick.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting way to kind of go through the season. Yeah, like this season, they recorded this season like I swear like 2 years ago, and they waited to put it out there for whatever reason. Nobody knew.
I still don't know. It's not that great. If were they ashamed of it? They're like, oh God, this is a lot of Laurel and Cara bullshit.
Uh, like it was good at points. Like the season had its like ups and downs. Like but I thought it was a pretty solid season overall. Like I don't know, like the regular season portion. Like once we get to the final, I don't think that was good. But like I
Yeah,
don't know, the cast was a little underwhelming. I think compared to All Stars 3, but it made up for it because I think like the female cast was really strong with Cam, Cara, Laurel. There's lots of strong female competitors.
yeah, for sure. Rachel. But hey, let's get
Oh
into
yeah.
this chronologically how people left. And the first person to leave was Tyree. Defeated by Steve in the elimination where you got to jump in the water and collect certain balls and put them in their sections and stuff. Um, yeah, I don't know. I like Tyree. I always thought people gave him too much shit, but overall, I'm a Steve fan.
Yeah, I was bummed out because like I hate it when like the first episode and it's two people go in that you like and you're a fan of. And I like both of these guys. They're both cool guys. And it was just like I don't know. I don't know. I guess it's been a while since they've been on the show, so they don't have a lot of ties to people in the house. Um, and then plus you have like the season where you have like the top group, the bottom group, and then the middle group. And like the middle group is like the top group is safe. The middle group is able to vote and decide who's gonna go down into the sand.
Which
And
is
then one of the,
weird.
like people, and then the people from the top group can decide if they want to jump in and take a person's star. So it was an interesting premise. I didn't hate it. It was pretty good, but yeah, I don't know. Like this elimination was a bummer because I like both people, but I was happy that Steve won.
Do
But
you remember how he won?
no.
Steve, he would find a ball instead of like climbing in and out of the water the whole time. He kind of,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he would hide them. He was like, because I was confused because like he said that he's like, I'm kind of stashing a few of these balls. And I was like, I was confused because then it was like he was behind, and I'm like, I think he's losing. And then it was like, where is he? He said he was stashing balls. Where the hell is he stashing them? But like on the edge of like the pit, there was like this tarp that was kind of tied to the edges, and he'd kind of stuff them underneath it. And then he had a couple right at the end, and that was how he won.
Yeah. Like a squirrel, the squirrel method, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's preparing for winter.
Winter is coming. Oh wait, we don't like Game of Thrones anymore. All right, let's go on to the next person. Janelle. She actually leaves. She quits, right? Is it before elimination against Tina? But she chooses to leave. Do you remember why? Do you remember her reasoning?
I don't remember her reasoning, but it seemed like a cop out. Like she was just scared that she was going to lose. And it was like, I don't know. Like, why are you even here? Like, if you don't want to compete, then leave. And I think she was complaining about all the drama in the house, wasn't she?
Yeah, Ayana, what's her name? She was just straight up lying about Janelle.
Oh,
Remember that?
yeah.
And Janelle was just like, I am too old for this shit. I'm not into the drama anymore, Like, and that's how I think that's how I would be. As soon as someone started talking shit, I'd be like, no, fuck this. I hate this house. I hate reality TV. I never should have signed up. I would have left as well.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of shows like the kind of competitor she is. Because even though, yeah, that's annoying, like what Ayana was doing, like look at what Cara Maria put up with from Laurel and Nicole, and then because Cara Maria, she was trying to give it back to him too. She was talking shit back to him. It was back and forth. So even though she was getting ganged up by tons of people in the house, that didn't stop Cara though.
Yeah, but again, with the age though, Kara is still younger than Janelle, and it really does suck though overall because Janelle was really cool in season 2, I think. But she had to leave with an injury or something like that, even though she was running in the final with an injury. It was crazy. Yeah, it's just maybe that's the last thing that goes is your tolerance for these shows. You know what I mean? Uh,
Yeah, I can see that, like the high school drama aspect of it all. And I'm not entirely sure, like I remember her face, but I don't remember like the seasons she was on. She might not have been like involved in any drama. And she might be like, but like Kara has like years of experience in drama, like getting picked on and then picking on other people. She's been on both sides of it.
yeah,
Maybe Janelle hasn't.
yeah. Eventually, Kara started to like the abuse. Who knows? But yeah, she leaves without actually going against Tina. So Tina, this has happened to her before. So Tina just gets to steal Avery's skull, I think, or a star, whatever show we're on. Yeah. Um, what else? Okay, let's talk about Tony. Tony time. Remember that? What happened to him? You remember?
I don't even remember him being on this season. This is news to me.
Something happened. I don't think it was an injury, but something with his family. Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think so.
His brother still being a fucking psychopath, getting in fights with girls. I don't know. Who
I,
knows?
I like who knows? I don't know. He's got a couple kids. Maybe like his kid got sick or something, had to go to the hospital. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
might be out on the internet, like why he left. He might have said something, but I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. It's super disappointing, and that's like I love it when they have other challengers just waiting in the wings for those first couple episodes. It's kind of like if Janelle quits, Tony quits, you're just like, all right, we got so and so, and then you just bring them out from behind the curtain, and it's like a cool surprise. But I don't think
Who
they
was
did
the
that here, did they?
who did replace him? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Because that's our new character. Our the next person to leave was Cyrus. He he comes in that
Oh yeah,
episode and leaves that episode. That sucked.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's generally what does happen. Like the new person that everyone immediately is like, "What are they doing here? Vote them in. They need to earn it somehow." Like I don't know. Like a lot of other people haven't earned their way onto this show. It's called All Stars, and certain people are definitely not all stars on this cast.
Yeah. That like even in a room full of seniors, someone's gonna be seen as the freshman, you know? Like it has to happen.
Yeah, I don't know because just like it's called All Stars, but you have Jay and then you have Derek, and they're both like terrible challengers in the past. But somehow on All Stars, they're like the cream of the crop and they're the best. And it's just like, what is happening? And it was just like, maybe the entire cast is like 45 years old and these guys are like
Yeah.
32 and they're still in their prime.
I never thought about it that way because Derek is really good in this season. But
Yeah, he was fast.
let's talk about though. Cyrus gets defeated by Kefla in the push tube thing. They're in this big
Yeah.
rotating tube. Yeah. Um, the only thing that was cool about that was, I mean, it was cool, but after Kefla wins, he comes out of the tube and he's like, oh, he's like, he acts like he has a cramp and he falls on all fours, but then he starts to like
Oh
do this
yeah.
hump or whatever. It was
He starts
amazing.
twerking. That was great. I loved it. Kefla was great. And like I love this elimination just because like these were the two people I wanted to see in it, like the two biggest, strongest dudes. That's why it was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kefla was great. I've never seen him before. He's new to me. I've never seen him on a show or a season before. At least not to my knowledge.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think I've seen him before, but like maybe the Gauntlet 1 or Battle of Seasons 1 or something, like way back. Let's talk about the next person to leave, Ayana. She's defeated by Rachel in the same push tube thing. Yeah. Go Rachel. I don't know. Ayana was dynamic in season 3 or whatever it was, season 2. But this time around, she was just annoying. I don't know. Like, just no one tolerated her, and neither did I. I was like, just go.
Yeah. Jasmine had some amazing line about Ayana. I forget what it was, but she said something about something like no one wants to put up with your fucking shit or, talking all this shit. But yeah, like once Jasmine said that, I was like, that's great. I'm like, because that's how I felt the same way. And because like wasn't like Leroy was in that like they were having their little whatever they call it, the community deliberation. And Ayana is just going off and talking, and everyone's like, "What the hell's going on here? Why don't you shut up? Like you're just supposed to say your vote and then your reason why." But she goes on this monologue for like 5 or 10 minutes or something, and everybody was super pissed off because she was the one going around like the entire night before, like talking shit and lying to everyone at the bar.
Yeah, and Leroy, he's like, "What is this? What are you are saying nothing?" And he just gets up and leaves. He leaves the fucking meeting, you know. And that was the time I think I messaged you. I was like, "Leroy's great," or something like that. I was like, "He's
Yeah.
back."
It was great. It was like Leroy's was like, I'm done with this shit. I was like, I'm gonna like I think Cam was like one of the winners that week, so she wasn't there. So Leroy's just like, I'm just gonna hang out with Cam. I'm gonna hang out with my wife. See you guys later.
All right. Next, we have Rachel defeated by Cara Maria in the throwing hatchets thing. Um, Man, people gave this shit. They were like, "Oh, it's luck, it's luck," but I'm like, there is a bit of skill if you could throw those axes or whatever. There's skill there. It's just the luck was that they were both terrible at it. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. I agree with both. Like I didn't like the game, but part of the reason I didn't like it is because they were both so bad at it. Like I didn't understand like why is this so difficult? Watching it, I was incredibly confused. I had to rewind it and watch it all over again because like if you hit your opponent's face, it gave you a point. But I thought it would give them a point and or maybe it was the other way around. But whatever it was, like in my head, I was scoring it backwards. I thought like first I thought it was like if you get 3 strikes, you're out. Is what I thought it was in my head when TJ explained it. So I thought like, oh, once you hit them 3 times, then they're done. But they were scoring points. Once you get the 3 points, then you win. So I was so utterly confused by the scoring that I had to watch it again, and I couldn't even enjoy it. And they were terrible at it, and it sucked because it was Rachel and Cara Maria, like the two people I want to see run the final. Well, Laurel as well, but it sucked that it was two of the best competitors out there and that Rachel ended up going home and it didn't really showcase like her talent and ability.
Yeah, they should have done the push tube thing from before. That would have been way better
Yeah,
because they're
that
both
would have been
in
better.
such great shape. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, I feel like they should be doing something where they have like ropes hung like 30 feet in the air and you got to climb the rope and, I don't know, like solve a puzzle, climb the rope, something like that.
I like the hatchet thing. Like I think had the two people been natural axe throwers, this could have been interesting. But it just sucks that they were ill-equipped. I mean, don't they watch that fucking show, Barmageddon? I mean, come on. You ever watch that show?
No, I've never heard of it, but it
It's
sounds kind of cool.
it's on TBS. It's like Blake Sheldon, Nikki Bella, and random celebrities. They team up with regular people to play bar games. It's actually kind of cool. So
Okay.
yeah,
I would watch it. Might check it
yeah.
out.
I'm like, do I like Blake Shelton? But he's kind of funny. I think it's Blake. Who's married to Gwen Stefani?
Yeah, that's Blake
Is that
Shelton.
him? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he was on The Voice, and he was one of the few people on The Voice that I actually liked. He actually had a good personality. He had a sense of humor. He was intelligent. like, and he has like comedic timing. He knows when to say something and when to shut up, which
Yeah, yeah.
a lot of, I don't know, a lot of people when they get on like those shows where there's like four panelists or something, they're talking over each other. They don't know when to jump in and when to sit back. But Blake Shelton's pretty good at that.
Yeah. Let's go to the next person. Oh, this is a bummer. Brandon defeated by Leroy in those it's a giant ball maze. I don't know. You get those little toys where like there's marbles and you got to get it through a maze to fall in the holes. Yeah. But they were playing a big giant version of it. And I say this sucks because I do like Brandon. And I was like, ooh, Brandon, this is a nice little wrinkle when he turned on Cara Maria. You know, he voted her in. And he's like, listen, you are better than me. That's why I don't want to go against you in a final. And Cara Maria's like, B, you broke my heart. And he's like, we haven't spoken in 8 years. He's like, I've been married, divorced, had kids. Kids died. No, I don't know. He just said like all this stuff happened and you weren't there for it. And Car's like, I don't know. It was just
Isn't
weak.
he? Wasn't like Brandon from like the Boston area or something? Is that why Kara? I don't know. I felt like that was why Kara had like this like friendship that was bigger than it was in her head, but maybe
Uh,
not.
um, no, I knew that they were friends. I think it's because they were both Fresh Meat from Fresh Meat 2.
Uh,
Yeah, and I remember like even videos they would be online where it's just Kara videotaping herself, and there's Brandon and Laurel, and they're just chilling out. So they were friends at one point. So
yeah, it was. I don't know. It kind of Brandon in that moment, like strategically, he reminded me of like Derek K, where Derek just counts the numbers in the house and says, "I'm going to join the side with the most people on it," and that was not on Kara's side because he just wanted to go with the numbers. He didn't want to put himself in a position where he's going to be targeted. Um, but it kind of backfired.
well, I mean, what made it interesting is because, yes, he did make a decision based on house logic, when usually he's the good guy. He would never do anything like that. It's just unfortunate that it was Kara. But again, he was like, Kara, not, like, Kara, we're not as close as you think. Like, I haven't heard from you in 8 years and shit. And all of a sudden, you're like, oh, B and shit like that. Fuck that. It just sucks that he got eliminated because now Cara Maria in her head is like, see, you betray me and it's a death wish or some shit, you know?
Yeah, one of those things. Don't stab me in the back. You'll be next.
Let's talk about the next person, Kefla, defeated by Steve in the rope wrestle thing. Pushing rope is what I wanted to call it, but I was outvoted. Remember that
Yeah,
one?
I like. Yeah, this was good. I really liked it, and I kind of thought Kefla was gonna win. I was like, he's got the size advantage, and I was like, he's got a weight advantage and a size advantage. Like, he might be a little bit shorter, but he's stockier, and built like wide. So I thought Kefla was gonna win, and then immediately, like we see, Steve has like either some football or wrestling
Wrestling.
technique. Yeah, because he like put Kefla on his back, and once he got Kefla on his back, I'm like, oh, he can't get up. And I'm like, it was like it reminded me of like Derek Lewis versus Daniel Cormier, where you put Derek Lewis on his back, and I'm like, I neutralized him. He can't knock him out now.
But it's sad for Kefla to go. Like, yeah, he was cool. He was a nice wrinkle because it's like I don't remember. I haven't seen him in such a long time, but he was cool. Like, bring him back for the next season, All Stars 5. Although, have you looked up the cast yet for All Stars 5?
No.
Like, I might be exaggerating, but like zero old veterans. It's all people that are on the regular show. Like Fessy is like, he is not a all-star. Fuck that. God. Oh my God.
They really need to rebrand All Stars. Like calling it All Stars is cool if you're gonna do it like once every 3 or 4 years, but you can't come out with one every single season calling it All Stars when the cast is going to be watered down. Just it doesn't work. Like they need a different title for these other seasons.
But yeah, like if they had an all-stars every 4 years, Wow, that's a long time. But you would definitely have people age more into it, you know? Okay, let's talk about the next person to leave. Jasmine, defeated by Nicole in the rope wrestle challenge. This was, oh my gosh, this was the remember Nicole chose to go against Veronica originally
Yeah,
between
yeah,
her and
yeah.
Jasmine. And then the either Veronica is so fucking clever. No, I think it's both. Veronica is clever and Nicole is dumb. She is so like
I
dense.
think that's what's going on. It's we see time and time again this year that Nicole, if she doesn't have Laurel whispering in her ear what to do, Nicole doesn't know what to do like politically or strategically. I like Nicole, like you've been on a couple seasons of this show, like you know how it's played, but like she has no strategy unless Laurel's telling her literally what to do. And like Veronica was like, no, she was talking to her, and she was like, ask Laurel, and like points up at Laurel, and Laurel's like nodding, like
Doing the
do what
baseball
she
signs.
says.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, do what she says.
Oh my God. So Jasmine was screwed over by that because she was like Jasmine got to walk up back and rejoin the others. And then TJ's like, well, looks like she changed her mind, yo. Come back down here. But that was weird. People mentioned that. They're like, since when do people get to change their minds?
I agree with that. I thought it was bullshit. Cause like once TJ said, like, all right, rejoin the group up there, like they already picked who they want. Like you can't like vote someone and then be like, actually, no, I'm gonna change my vote. Like, it just doesn't work that way. Like once you say something, like if you call heads or tails, once you say something, that's what it is.
Yeah, but with that being said, I did enjoy the part that Nicole is, Jedi mind tricked into changing her mind. Uh, but Nicole versus Veronica, Veronica's got some weight to her, and that's a compliment. And, yeah, she's curvy. Baby's got back. Uh,
It didn't even make sense because it was like the smarter play was to go against Jasmine because Jasmine is smaller and skinnier and easier to push around. And like that's who you want to go against. So like going against Veronica, like that's gonna be, I don't know, like Veronica's definitely bigger and harder to push, but she might have less endurance. So who knows?
I think didn't it come down to like Veronica was like, listen, I Jasmine will work with Kara. I won't work with Kara. I hate Kara. And that was one of the main things for Nicole, where she like all of a sudden hates Cara Maria. Yeah, so odd.
Yeah. It
Let's
was a
go on.
bummer. I really like Jasmine this season. I thought she was good. Um, she's got like the personality and the sense of humor that I like.
Just not the just not the physical gifts that she needs. She's small. She's tiny.
Yeah. Yeah, as a competitor, she kind of sucks, but just for her personality alone is, that's why we like her.
Yeah. You have a thing for mirror smashers, don't you? Did she do that like years ago in Rivals One?
Only when they're intoxicated and angry at Tyree.
Let's get with the Brad. Brad left. He was defeated by Adam in the giant Nintendo controller thing. I think it was a puzzle or something or a memory game.
Oh yeah, where
Yeah.
they had to look at a puzzle board with a bunch of different it would either have like directional buttons or A and B, and then they'd have to run over and push like start and then enter in part of the
Yeah.
code.
Yeah, because Brad forgot that part, pressing start. Oh, and while we're talking about Brad, possibly his worst season he's ever had. Remember all the fuck ups he had? And even
Yeah,
Leroy, who's very like a chill dude, he's like, God damn it, Brad. He was pissed off at him.
yeah. Like I was rewatching, what was it? Not Rival, The Duel 2, and it was one of Brad's best seasons. And Brad was phenomenal that season. And it's just night and day between like the Duel 2 Brad and then and even Duel 1 Brad. And then watching this season of All Stars where like Brad couldn't follow simple instructions. he would get advice from his teammates and he would ignore it because he thought he had a better idea and it would not work. Like he couldn't find like the when TJ said like the section and then the row and then the seat in that stadium where you're supposed to sit, where it's like, what do they call it? Duck, not Duck Duck Goose, but like the
Musical
when you're
chairs.
musical chairs,
Yeah.
yeah. And like Brad is in the wrong section and everyone's like running in the other way. And then like Brad was, what the hell are you doing, man? Like he couldn't do
Yeah.
anything right.
Well, like I would even compare this night and day to All Stars 3. Remember, he just barely lost to Wes in that final. And up until that point, him and Jody were like a thing. Maybe that was All Stars 2 as well. But yeah, I wonder what happened. I think online he was like he just broke up with someone or something. I don't know. Maybe
I
Tori, she showed up and threw the ring back at him. Like, how'd you get this the last time?
I have heard stuff about like Tori being like keeping his kids away from him and not letting him visit them and just kind of being a bad co-parent. Um,
Whoa, I was just joking. I had no idea Tori was involved at all. Wow.
yeah, Brad does not have good things to say about her, and she doesn't have good things to say about him. I didn't like on a different topic. Like Brad also said that he is a teacher, and I'm like, what the fuck is Brad teaching? Like I thought Brad owned like a gym,
Uh,
and when he said he was a teacher, I assumed that he was like, oh, he's like a fitness trainer or something. Like he shows people how to lift weights. But I'm like, there's no way he's in our public school systems. Like, please no.
he could
What
be
the
a
hell is
gym
Brad
teacher.
teaching? Okay, yeah, I guess he could be a gym teacher, but like he's gonna forget the rules to kickball. I guarantee it.
God. Oh man. So I don't know. Hopefully this was just a bad season for him, right? Athletes
Yeah,
have that.
maybe he just had stuff on his mind and was distracted, and who knows. But I do want him to come back and redeem himself.
Well, he will in season 40, Battle of the Eras. That's why I'm like, Brad,
Oh,
you better get your shit together because you have a wonderful team to go to. Yeah. All
oh,
right.
is he gonna be the weak link?
See, that's the thing. He could be, man. All right, so let's go to Tina, who's defeated by Cam in the trampoline puzzle. Let me just say this, Tina, not a fan. I am over her shit. Like, she might be funny here and there, swearing or saying something, but for the most part, I'm like, she's terrible politically. She has no physical game, like she's just being saved by Veronica and Rachel all the time. And and so she's defeated by Cam, right? This was the chance that not only did we lose Tina, but I realized that Avery didn't have the stuff to go down there and defeat Tina. Like sure, Cam is going to get pissed, but when isn't she pissed if something doesn't go her way? You know, this was her chance. Oh my God, I just saw someone in the doorway.
What do you mean? I didn't see anyone. Yeah, like it was disappointing that what's her name? You just said her name and I forgot her name.
Avery.
Avery. Yeah. It was disappointing that she didn't come down there. Um, but like watching it, I thought that Tina might have a chance, but like she didn't. Like because I don't know, I was looking at Cam and I'm like, Cam can barely jump. Like I didn't seem like Cam was even able to jump high enough to see the puzzle, but she was. And the way they edited it, they wouldn't show Cam's puzzle being completed that much. They showed like a little bit at the beginning and then they didn't show it like at all. And you're kind of tricked into thinking that it was closer than it was. Because by the time Cam won, it was a blowout.
Yeah. I am. Oh my gosh, I think Tina's in season 40 as well. So right now we have her and Brad on Arrow One. That's what their team is called, Arrow One. Uh,
I feel like they should be Arrow too, but I don't know.
I think they got it right. I don't know. We'll see when we cover it if we
Okay.
cover it. All right, let's go to Cam, defeated by Cara Maria in the water cage thing. You gotta go in the water, move the balls or whatever, right?
Yeah.
This was the moment. where Laurel didn't chose not to go against either, and she needed a star, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and it was, it was one thing if Laurel doesn't go down there to try and get a star, but it's another thing when you talk shit for 2 episodes straight about like Cara Maria's afraid of me. She's like, I'm gonna take her out. I'm not afraid of her. I'm gonna go in there. She's like, I'm gonna take her spot and go in, and then she doesn't do it. It's like in my head, I was just like, I was shocked that Laurel was talking all this shit, saying she was gonna go in, because like in my head, I'm like, I don't think Laurel wants to do that, and then ultimately she didn't. I don't know why she was talking all this mad shit.
Well, I like this was the moment when she chose not to go down there, and I was doing the math. I'm like, that's the last time anyone's going to be able to get a star, you know? But of course, the twist later on, which spoiler alert, will help Laurel like crazy throughout the rest of this season. It's just that she gambled on saying, "Oh, maybe there's going to be a twist." And it's a good gamble because producers want that drama. They're not just going to let Laurel stay there. They're going to give her at least a chance to win one. Ugh.
Yeah. Like I totally predicted it watching this season. I'm like, there's too many people there to run the final. They're gonna do some kind of purge where they get rid of a bunch of people and the winner will get a star. And that's exactly what happened. Um, but it was super risky of Laurel to put it all on that because if there was like a puzzle that you couldn't solve or you stumbled along the way and then you end up just getting eliminated, like that would have been terrible. So it was super risky. It ended up working out, but like for Laurel, she did a lot of risky stuff this season, and it just happened to work out in her favor for, you know, acts of God, just miracles that would happen and work out in her favor.
Yeah. But let's remember Cara Maria though. She just defeated Cam. She defeated Rachel. Like that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, in the same season, that's epic. Like Cam is like she's killer Cam. Like in eliminations, she's great. But this was kind of Cam's weakness because it was kind of based on speed. I think it was just all about being really fast, getting down there. And then there was some strategy involved where Kara moved all of her balls to the end
Yeah, yeah.
at first. So that way she only had to go like into the tunnel once. So she was slow to get out and start stacking her balls in that tube, but she had moved all of her balls into position. So once she started stacking them, she could do it really quickly. And so it was kind of this speed and strategy. Kara took this.
So Cam though, she really reminded me why she is called also Queen Cam. Like she really commanded a lot of votes in that house, either through just intimidation or just being friends with some of these people. She really was able to get what she wanted. But this was why was she in the elimination? Just because she was at the bottom, and that's just how they're like, oh shit, Kara and Cam are at the bottom. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Because who
But
was the
then
other option? I don't know, because it all comes down to like who's in the middle group and who wants to vote. And I feel like it was a bunch of like middle of the road people, and they just want the two strongest players in there. And they're like, if anybody can take up Kara, it's going to be Cam. But
but
even
didn't
if Cam goes,
right, but didn't Laurel bring Cam aside and she's like, I want to go against Car Maria? Right? Didn't Cam
yeah,
kind of put herself in because she's like, Laurel's actually going to take my place, right? Yeah.
yeah, yep, that's exactly what happened. I forgot about that. Yeah, because Laura's supposed to go in and take Cam's place, and Cam was just like assured, like, "Hey, I'm gonna be voted in, but don't worry, I'm gonna swap you out." And that was the whole thing that Laurel was lying about.
I mean, shit, now I kind of give Laurel some kudos, but again, it's such a big gamble. It just happened to pay off because producers like her. That's what I'm saying, but god damn it.
Yeah, but like Cam was talking shit this entire season. It was a lot like what was it, Double Agents? I think that was that the season where her and Leroy were like running the show and they
maybe.
were kind of like in control of the house. Like politically, Cam was like in charge of everything. That's why like Cam kind of had that uh attitude with her this season, and she's trying to control everything and trying to make sure that, Cara Maria goes home. And it was like Cam just talked shit the entire season, and then she gets sent home, and then immediately like the cameras are on her, and Cam is just such a good sport. She's just like, good for her, I'm happy for her. And she was so composed and was acting like a totally different person. Like, Cam, you've been petty all season long, and then suddenly now you're taking the high road. Like, I don't buy this bullshit. Like, Cam should have been talking shit about Laurel. She should be talking shit about Laurel the way she was talking shit about Cara Maria the entire season.
I
But she's
think
just kind of
Kara.
like,
I think Kara just like no one liked Kara. You know, like even like Cara Maria was like in an interview, she's like, "Yeah, I watched the season and I had no idea that so many talk so much shit." She was just like, "I thought we were chilling." But I'm like, "Cara, you had to have known a little bit. You must have some sense of self-realization that you're kind of an asshole, you know?" Uh,
yeah, like, I don't know. Like, it was very evident that nobody liked Kara. So I don't know. It's strange to me that she would act like, oh, I didn't realize that at the time. Like, it seemed like you realized, like, because she always knew she could only hang out with like a couple people. Like, there was
yeah,
Ace
Ace.
and like Steve and like Brandon for like 3 days, and then, you know, it
Yeah.
was,
Jay maybe? I don't know.
yeah, Jay. Jay was the other guy she would hang out with. But yeah, it was, but like, yeah, everybody's afraid of her as a competitor, so they don't want to go against her. So all the girls kind of ganged up on him, on her, and then, a lot of the guys, they're kind of just it's trying to be self-preservation mode, where they're kind of going along with the numbers. They want to keep the target off their back as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you mentioned Jay. Let's talk about him next. He's defeated by Steve in the watercolor puzzle. Not watercolors, but there's water, and then you put the colors, and you have to match the shade that's ascending or descending shade. But
Yeah,
Jay is colorblind. What the fuck?
is yeah, is it so? Like, isn't Jay like a firefighter or something?
Yes, I
Just
believe
like
so.
Nicole.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, water, it's his natural habitat. And I'm like, no, I'm like, fire is his natural habitat. And I'm like, water might be his weakness. I don't know. He's spraying it, he's using it as a weapon towards something else. Like, yeah. And like, he's colorblind, which I don't think that would be good if you're a firefighter. I feel like, I don't know, maybe everything's dark and it doesn't really matter. But I feel like colors might matter if they're like, "Where's that fire hydrant?" And you're like, "I don't see it." And I'm like, "That's the bright red thing over there." I'd be like, "Oh, it looks green to me."
But you know what a fire hydrant looks like, don't you? Oh yeah, I guess you're right. Um, okay, so,
And they had those giant. They had the giant dunk tanks,
yeah.
and like Steve was like, "I'm gonna cut some time off by jumping off the top of it," and like almost breaking his ankles every time.
Yeah, he was like, he's like, first jump, and immediately my knees are like, holy shit, asshole, we're 45. We can't just do that anymore. You know? Oh, so what sucks though is that, Jay won, and the options were Steve and someone else, and Jay was like, I think it was Leroy, but Jay had the chance to go in to get the last star. See, it's such bullshit because that's not the last star. The whole season of having only 6 stars is a lie, you know? Oh my God. Because Jay didn't have to go in there. Maybe he would have had a better chance of winning the 2 extra ones, like Laurel did. So Steve
Yeah,
decides to do this knowing he's colorblind. Like, what the fuck? That sucks. No win situation.
yeah. I mean, but at the same time, I feel like even though they say it's like, oh, this is the last time you can go in, like you can do the math and count how many people are there. Like there's going to be something else. But, you know, but like I still like it was super risky when Laurel did it. So it was, it would have been risky if Jay didn't do it. And Jay was one of the best competitors all season. It was just it's what happens in eliminations where sometimes you end up having to do something where it kind of matches one of your weaknesses.
Like Jordan going against Bananas in the wall climbing thing. It's like, bro, get out of your ego. Don't do it, man. Uh,
Yeah. Well, it's like Laurel bragging about her elimination win over Cara Maria when like Cara had a broken hand for one of them.
oh yeah,
She
yeah.
was, and it was just like, can you really like normally they just send you home, but like they're like TJ was like, all right, climb that wall, Cara Maria against Laurel. It's like, oh yeah, didn't see that
Uh,
coming.
does this redeem Jay in your eyes?
Yeah, it does. Like because we had the sample size was just Battle of the X's too, and he was terrible. And then I was he on All Stars 1 or 2 or something
No,
briefly?
no,
He wasn't?
no.
Okay. But
So
yeah, like he was
yeah,
really good, and I'm okay with him coming back.
so this kind of brought this idea in my head because Jay was bad, he comes back awesome. Derek was bad, comes back awesome. Same thing with we can name others. John A. She wasn't the greatest, came back fucking awesome. There
Yeah.
should be a season called Redemptions or something like that, where it's all the most terrible challengers we've ever had. Already it sounds horrible, but like get all these people that are just horrible, and you're like, this is your chance. Nothing but the C list here. This is all Division 3 or whatever.
Yeah. Instead of All Stars, you just, it's the
Nope.
bottom of the barrel games.
Steerage. The challenge steerage. Anyways, let's go on to the next person, Flora. Flora, who was non-existent, like she would kind of swear, I guess, um, in a vain attempt of appearing edgy and youthful. But she quit like right before for the twist, the last stars. Remember that?
Yeah. And she went all the way to the starting line and then decided she was going to quit there. I was like, what the hell is this shit? Like, if you don't want to be there, just quit and then let Cam show up to the final. Like, come on. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I, it's like when these people quit, it pisses me off. Is like if they quit at the beginning of the season, it sucks. Like, they should be replaced. And then even at the end, if you quit, like, obviously like Cam was already eliminated, so you can't bring her back. But like people need to be like just banished from the show or put it in their contract that they're going to lose 70% of their pay, their appearance fee for being on the show. Because quitting like that, like no. If anything, I want to see you run and try and do it and fail miserably. All right? That should be your shame. Like with like Berna was terrible. But she whined and complained the entire time, but she was trying to do that final. Like Flora, she didn't want to. She was scared.
Yeah, what a dud. I mean, but she has a ticket to the challenge redemptions or whatever. Sad
Yeah,
sacks.
I guess.
See, already the cast looks horrible. All right, let's get
I
to
know. I have no plans on watching that.
come on, we're gonna be streaming on Paramount Plus. All right, so let's get to Ryan. These next three are all gonna be purged, which sucks. So Ryan is purged. He kind of he was okay. Like I didn't mind him back in the day, but in this one it's weird because he remember he chose not to go into elimination. He kept on saying like, "Oh, I want to go in, I want to go in," then changed his mind. Remember that?
Yeah.
I think that was the one Jay was gonna. He went up to Ryan, is like, "You and me, brother, like we're the same. We weren't great. Now we're fucking awesome, and we're gonna go against each other." And Ryan's like, "Cool, man," but then he chickens out. It was so lame. I hated it. I think that's why Ace is like, "God damn it, I can't vote him in," or some shit like that. And that's why Jay had to go against Steve. But that could have been Jay against Ryan in the colorblind challenge. So Ryan, you asshole, like you could have. Oh my god. So I don't know. I didn't like him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Ryan was a disappointment. I really liked him on like Fresh Meat too. He was great, but Him coming back, yeah, he kind of just plays like a scared game. He's there to hang out at the house and have fun with people, but he's not really there to be a competitor.
Yeah. God, I think he's on season 40 as well. Is this Battle of the Eras or
He's
Redemptions? Come on.
he just wants to show up to the house to chill for like a couple of weeks.
And
It's like a
he
paid
does
vacation.
well, he doesn't even drink anymore. He was like, "This is my first season sober." It's like, well, then go into elimination. That'll be your alcohol. That'll be your, dopamine or whatever. God damn
Yeah,
it.
get your buzz somewhere else.
Yeah. All right, let's go on to Avery, of Hooters fame. It's so funny. Like I checked her out on Instagram. I'm like, what is she up to? And she's like, always, she's still working at Hooters and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? I
Yeah.
had no idea. Well, I mean, she's definitely qualified. I would say that.
Yeah, she serves some mean wings, man. So Avery, this was too bad as well. We mentioned how she didn't go against Tina in that elimination, and even though it wasn't her last chance, it felt like it at the time, and it just showed that like she was too coy to go against Cam's wishes, even though she could have easily defeated Tina to get her star back that Tina stole from her. Like it's oh fuck, it was annoying. She's very pretty, but you're not pretty enough to fucking step up and get your star back. That's too bad.
Yeah. And that was kind of like the intrigue of this season because it really tests you to see if you want to step up and go for it. Um, Jay stepped up and went for it and it failed for him. Other people decided not to step up, like Ryan and Avery, and it backfired. I thought Avery, like in this purge elimination, I really thought that Avery was going to give Laurel a run for her money because I was just like running wise and endurance wise, they might be equal, and then it could just come down to like some puzzles. And we've seen Laurel get hung up on puzzles before, so I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, if Avery gets lucky on a puzzle, like who knows? Maybe she could win. Didn't happen, but
Did you know that? Oh, actually, let's talk about the next person. Adam. Adam's purged. Now, you know what? This is funny. At first, I was like, Adam, that's so awesome because I remember him from Gauntlet One, and then he was chill and he was talking about how the daily challenges used to be called missions, and I'm like, yeah, man, I still call them
yeah,
missions to this day. you know? So he was cool, and then I found out that him and Avery are together now. Like they hooked up after this season, and they're together now. I'm like, you son of
hmm,
a bitch! But it was when Steve rightfully took Adam Starr away from him that Adam turned into that asshole. I'm like, oh yeah, he was an asshole in Gauntlet One. I remember him, but he was an asshole, So he was just like, oh fuck you, bitch! All your elimination wins were from people that were highly underprepared or some shit like that. He just completely turned on Steve, and after that, I was like, I don't care about Adam.
yeah. Adam was great this entire season until like the last like 3 or 4 episodes. And then he was just an asshole. And I was just like, what the fuck? Because like I couldn't discern like Ace and Adam from each other because they were just like napping and sleeping all the time and they're scruffy and they're just like they're there, but they're super chill. And I'm like, all right, he seems like kind of chill, mellow dude because he's in his 40s. And then yeah, then he's super salty at Steve for taking his star, and it was like, Adam, like you voted in Steve like multiple times. Like you're on the opposite side of the house from him. Like, what did you think was gonna happen? Like, that's how the game is played. Like, I don't know. I hate it when people get upset for someone else just playing the game the way it's meant to be played. And it's like, you don't need to take it personal, but like when you're taking a star from somebody, you're going to take a star from somebody who's been either voting against you or working against you. Like, and it wasn't
Yeah,
like Steve was talking shit about it. It wasn't like a bunch of bad blood, like between like Car Maria and Nicole and Laurel and Cam. Like, there was a lot of shit talking back and forth. So that I can understand some bad blood, but like Adam just started talking shit for no reason.
yeah. I wonder if what Avery thinks now because they're together now, but that was filmed a year or so ago. And she's like, oh, hey, this guy's an asshole. I wonder if he's going to reveal that in the final 3 episodes of our life. You know,
Well, maybe that was the turning point. She's like, "Oh, he's a bad boy. I like him now."
fuck. Ew, if that's what she likes, maybe that explains why she surrounds herself with assholes at work, right? I don't know.
Yeah,
I've never been to a Hooters. I just assume there's a bunch of douchebags that go there all the time. I don't know.
oh yeah, I'm pretty sure their clientele is all like 48-year-old divorced guys.
Wow, that is exactly what Adam is. I think he's divorced. I don't know.
It makes sense. I
But
Okay, how much you want to bet that if they started like getting together after the show, Adam like stalked her where she works, showed up at her place. Oh, what are you doing here?
I'll have the chicken breast hold the chicken or whatever that stupid joke is. And she's like, "Oh, you." Okay, let's talk about Derek. Redeemed himself, Derek, although he was never terrible. Like I thought his performance against Brandon and Cutthroat was pretty good. And then he did well with Janae in their season of Battle of the Seasons. But he was so much better this time. Again, it could be his age. Derek is he appears younger than everyone. And he was just pew, Mr. Zippy, he was fast. But he actually gets eighth place in the final. He gets to the final, but it's like they do the paintball and then the electric shock thing, and he's
Yeah.
just the slowest out of all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, he got psyched out in that because like
Oh, yeah.
Leroy started screaming like it was super painful, and then like everybody was getting psyched out by it, and then like Derek was psyched out the most that it was gonna hurt, so he went super slow.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's too bad because it was between him and Laurel, but they were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, it's Derek." But part of me was like, "Oh, Derek." Between the two of them, if they don't have to reveal actual times, Derek, you're fucked. They are not going to let Laurel get eliminated first.
Yeah, exactly. Like a lot of times when they do that, there was like you're in a closed room, nobody knows exactly what the time was, and there's no like you're not going to show the footage of it, and it comes down to 2 seconds. Like, of course they're going to pick Laurel to stay. I don't know. Like you can't trust them.
Yeah, Derek, though, we'll see you in season 40. He's going to be on there.
Yeah. About that like electrical post in that game, I think it was Ace who was the best one at it. Who's like, I don't care if it touches the entire way and shocks me the entire way. I'm just gonna go super fast. He's like, and I'll get shocked the entire time. I think that was Ace, or was it Steve? I don't remember.
For, I know Veronica was like, she's like, I know it sounds weird, but I used to shock myself for fun when I was a kid. So she totally didn't mind it. She was all calm, and when she got
Yeah.
zapped, it didn't affect her. Yeah, that was
She
good.
probably plays with tasers in her spare time.
Hey, if she's into it, I'm there. I'm here for it. All right, let's talk about Leroy. Oh, what do you know? Seventh place. That's with the marionette drinking thing, the red cup. You gotta like do this weird thing, pour water in your mouth and spit into a tube. And I've said it before, I've said it countless times. I do not have faith in Leroy. He's never going to win. God damn it.
I don't think Leroy was gonna win this final, but like these stupid games that they're playing, like this one was the breaking point for me because I'm like, what the hell's happening? Because first we saw the paintball thing on the cars, and I'm like, this seemed like it should have been a weekly mission,
Yeah.
and that's what that game should have been. And then when they do the electrical thing, like trying to move that metal piece around the statue, like I'm like, that's like a weird game. And then now they're doing this where they're trying to pour the drink into their mouth and then spit it into the tube. I'm like, this is not a final. It's janky carnival games, you know? Like, why aren't they running? Like, it'd be one thing if they were running along like a course and these were set up outside, but it wasn't that.
I kind of welcome the change. I am kind of like over the whole long marathon thing, but I have been like that for a while. So this was different. My God, what was it like? You would do one thing where you would win the advantage, and then the next thing would be the elimination, right? and then advantage, elimination, stuff like that. Um, what was the advantage for someone going in? Oh, they only had to fill their tube up so much. I think maybe Nicole had it. I don't know.
Yeah, because anytime somebody got eliminated, that person's star, like Veronica's star, would go on to whoever she picked, and it would give them an advantage.
That's right. Okay, so who did Derek give his star to? Do we remember?
Might have been Nicole. I don't remember exactly.
Was this Laurel as well? Didn't Laurel get like 3 stars overall or something?
Yeah, I think she got
Shit.
Veronica's. I think she got Nicole's.
Yes, Veronica and Nicole's. I think Derek might have given it to Laurel. I'm not sure, but Leroy gives his to Steve, which was nice. Um, yeah, let's move on to the next person. Veronica and Nicole are both eliminated. They both decide to roll the ball. Like, okay, this seems so flawed, this whole chunk, because you have 3 rooms and only 2 can be done either time, right? Car Maria, whoever goes first has won the thing, right? Doesn't she go first?
Yeah, and she gets to look in all three rooms to see what the games are. And it makes no sense. Like, if anything, like maybe you can see the sign on the outside of the door to kind of get a clue at what it would be, but you shouldn't be able to like go in each room and inspect that. They should have had like the rules on the outside of the door, so it was at least a little bit fair.
But yeah, so that's not fair to know ahead of time. But then she gets to choose whoever she wants to go in after her. And
Yeah.
since only 2 people could do a room, that is insane advantage. Like so we already know Laurel's going to go last, right? People are like just the way things are going out. But anyways, because she chooses, I think, what was it Steve or no, Ace? She's like, Ace, I'm going to tell you all these rooms, and I'm going to tell you the room I already did, which is the easier one. Go do the easier one, so the harder rooms are available for the next people. It's like that is like a terrible amount of power that you're given right there. It's crazy. But
Yeah, I like
yeah,
this whole section of the final, like I really disliked everything that was happening. Um, it was just bad. And because like the games are like you throw a flaming ball at a sign that's dangling and it has to light it on fire. And you have to do it to three. You just have to throw a ball that's on fire, but it's not difficult. You're just throwing a ball and hitting a target, 3 different targets. And then the other one is you're rolling the ball through. It kind of looks like a miniature golf thing where there's things blocking your way, and you got to kind of aim it through to get it out the exit at the bottom. Which it was a lot more difficult because you had to be just perfect with how you throw that thing down there, or if you're bouncing it off the walls, you had to get lucky. And then the last thing was the giant log and these long nails that are like 8 or 9 or 10 inches out of the stump, and the
9 inch
tiniest
nails.
yeah, 9 inch nails. And then they have a little hammer that's like 8 ounces, just like a tiniest little like tack hammer that you would like use to put a tack in your wall to hang a picture.
Yeah,
Like, I
I
don't
wouldn't have
know. It
done.
was so stupid. Like, if they had like an actual legit hammer, like I think that would have been more interesting. But with that tiny hammer, you're just watching them go like this, like tink, 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 and it's barely moving.
This so Veronica and Nicole, they are both going to be eliminated, and they both did the roll the ball thing. And I
Yep.
think that was just going to be the worst one, no matter what. That seemed, not only did it seem kind of difficult to navigate that ball, but once it misses, you have to go down the ladder, sprint over to the other side of the room and catch that ball, sprint back, climb the ladder back up. It was just the worst room to go into. Um, so yeah, Veronica, Nicole are in 5th place because they got the worst room to do it. Um, let's see here. I just need to include this. So remember when Kara is like whispering to Ace, she's like, "This is what's going on," blah, 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 right? And then she's whispering to Steve. Laurel just straight up walks up right behind them and fucking zeroes in like an inch from their fucking conversation. I have never been like Laurel drives me nuts. She's so immature. She's physically gifted, but she's so goddamn immature. And to choose between Laurel and Cara Maria, who is just as immature, it was, I think that kind of soured my overall experience of the show, where it's like, these are the two titans that are waging war, you know? God damn it.
Yeah, and it was yeah, for sure. Because like I've seen like Cara Maria was getting picked on this entire season, and I was firmly on Cara Maria's side. But in the past, I've absolutely hated Cara Maria because Cara Maria has been like her and Paulie have been like the ringleader, just picking on entire groups of people. Um, but it was like the roles were reversed, and like now I'm rooting for Cara Maria, even though she's done this terrible shit to other people in the past. Um, is this and Laurel is like you said, immature. She's emotionally immature for sure. And that's why her and Nicole get along because Nicole's the same way. Uh, yeah, they're just terrible. I don't know. And it was like I have no problem with Laurel like listening in on what they're saying because Cara Maria's whispering like, "Hey, put your hand on my shoulder and and act like I'm sad," and she's like pretending to be sad.
Right. Yeah, they're both terrible, but we have to include so this Veronica and Nicole give both their stars to Laurel because Nicole doesn't like Kara, right? Veronica doesn't
Yep.
like Kara. She told that to Nicole. She's like, I would never work with her and stuff. So it's the lesser of two evils, right? And then it makes me believe Derek did give his star to Laurel because I know Laurel gets like 3 stars. So that's the end of the star giving. So let's get into, oh my God, this is this is so complicated, but so you have to do a lap, and every lap you have to do, there's like 6 things you have to do. Like you have to drink this stuff, but if you have a star, you can just skip that for that lap, but you could only use 1 star per lap. But the thing was, they didn't film it right. They didn't show people running those laps. So you're just like, what is going on here? And they're saying they're using their star. Oh my gosh. All right, let's try and make sense of it.
It was confusing because it was like, oh, you have to do these same tasks over and over. And they showed it sometimes, but sometimes they didn't because they would show like Laurel like stacking the rocks where you had to stack them 9 high or something. And they would show that a couple times, but then they wouldn't show everybody doing every task. So the way it was edited, it was confusing at first as if like, are they really doing all these tasks? Or do you just have to like do a couple things and then that's a lap and then like you just do the first thing, do a lap, and then you do the first and second thing, and then do a lap, and then do the first and third thing and do a lap?
I guess,
Or
yeah.
do you have to do it all and then do it like I don't know. It was very confusing to me. I couldn't quite figure it out. Um and it was confusing to Steve too.
Oh, okay. It had to have been do one thing on lap one, then do 2 things on lap two, because the last thing that Laurel and Cara Maria skip is the one where you have to stop everything, get a put on a vest or whatever, get hooked up by a producer, a slow moving producer, make sure that the safety harness is set up, and then you do this thing, throwing hooks while swinging. It took so much time. Whoever had to do that was not going to win, you know? Oh
Yeah.
my God. Yeah, that was the obstacle of death. Jesus.
I yeah, like all of these doing something and then getting an advantage, like just the fact that somebody else got eliminated and they gave you their star and it gives you an advantage, like you didn't even have to do good and you got an advantage. Like it's bullshit because like Laurel was almost last in like uh the electrical thing but she's still like getting all these advantages. Like Cara Maria was first in that last like the three rooms. She had the best time of anybody, but she doesn't get an advantage. You know, it just comes down to who the stars are given to. And then when you get to this last final stage, it just comes down to who has the stars and whether you use them properly. Because Steve did not, he tried to use two in his final lap. And then the producers came up and said, you can't do that. You got to space them out and only use it in the lap before. And, you know, Steve didn't realize that. And he ends up basically losing because of it.
Yeah, Cara Maria was like, so basically, in order to win this thing is to be friends with all the losers. And you're like, I guess so. You know, it's all about like whoever lost, who did they like the most, you know?
Yeah,
Ugh.
you got to be friends with all the losers, I guess.
And Cara Maria just chose the wrong losers. She chose Jay and Ace, you know, people that didn't lose. Had they lost, Ace would have gave Cara her star, right? I assume. Maybe Steve,
Yeah.
but anyways, let's talk about Ace though. He gets fourth place because I don't it's not necessary to then have another elimination at this final fucking thing, but they do. But Ace is like, all right, you know, thank God. You know, I didn't expect Ace to be devastated by this. He's so laid back. You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
like, yeah, he's so chill, but he was concerned about the bugs, so he releases the bugs.
Yeah, that was so weird. It was like it was the last thing on my mind at that moment. And he's like, "Oh, these poor cockroaches! I need to set them free." It was like Ace Ventura or something.
Yes. Oh my God. But you know what though? It does seem so old-timey to be eating bugs. You know what I mean? I don't want to be like, oh, you know, bleeding heart, tree hugging guy. But it is always weird that they're like, oh, this living creature that we're just gonna eat for some bullshit reality TV show. It's like, we weren't doing anything to you. Or, you know, maybe eat dead bugs that you found or something. I don't know. It always seems so fucking wasteful to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't like. I don't like it just because it's really gross, and like I would prefer that you have them eat something more gross. Like bugs are gross, but like to me, like some weird like moldy cheese, like stuff that's like stinky and rotten. I don't know. To me,
Yeah.
that's a little more interesting. Or just like, just large quantities of gross food. Like this was just like eat one bug. Okay.
Yeah, you had to eat one bug every lap though, right? It's a lot of
Yeah.
bugs.
I don't know. I mean, I still think it was better than TJ's energy drink.
Oh God damn it.
So like, I guess if that's the alternative, I'll take the bugs, but I
I
don't know.
remember there was this one final where they had maggots in the fucking bright ass sunlight in a shot glass, and you could see them writhing because the glass is hot. They were just being burned alive the entire time. They're like,
Oh yeah.
ah.
The
I
glass
was
is
like,
like a magnifying glass just cooking
yeah,
them.
yeah. So I don't know. Enough with this fucking eating animal shit. I mean, you could eat meat and stuff like that, but not live things. It's a little weird for me. I don't know. Let's go on to Steve. We mentioned this was his fatal mistake of having two stars at the end. He should have got rid of it before, but he was doing well, right? I think he surpassed Laurel and Cara, but it was this fucking fatal mistake. So he's going to get third. Um, man, I was rooting for Steve. I think I would have been a lot happier had he won this thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Steve was doing really good. I wanted him. I I don't know, like just based off of all of the interviews I've seen all season, I was convinced that Cara won or Steve won. Like they both got like a winning edit, and they both like in their final interviews throughout the season, they always seemed like happy and positive, like they were winners. So I really thought Cara or Steve was gonna win. And then like Laurel, she's always seemed like depressed and like checked out in all of her
Yeah.
interviews. So I
Well,
didn't think Laurel had a chance at winning. So I'm like, there's no way she wins the season is this depressed about it. But I guess I don't know. I was like I don't know. It's trying to watch Laurel and her mannerisms and like make sense of it. Like it can't be done. Like nobody can understand Laurel and what's going on.
Uh, let's get to Cara Maria, who takes second place. This really was down to the two of them. They're, enemies, or rivals. Then they were friends. Then they were rivals again. They were friends again. Then so it's like, oh my gosh, we're gonna have to deal with this forever. They're both going to be on season 40, by the way. Um, and it's crazy because I guess we could go on to Laurel too. She won, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is only her second win. She seems like she's won way more than this. At least she fucking walks around like she has.
What was their
So,
win was free agents, right?
yes, yep.
Yeah,
That was a long fucking time ago, man. That's like,
that was
I don't even know when. I
more
think
than
that
10
was
years ago.
yeah, that was the season before we started podcasting.
It
Because
was like
yeah,
2012,
yeah,
2013, something that
something like
era.
that. Yeah. Um, so I don't know. It's like in Cara Maria, she's also a two-time champion. That's cool. And also Laurel and Cara both won when there was only a solo champion. That's impressive too. So yeah, I think maybe Laurel and Cara Maria are like the two greatest living. I'm sure Evelyn's still alive somewhere. But like
Ah,
damn it, we needed her back. I love Evelyn. I miss her so much, but it just goes to show, especially with season 40 coming up, that if you're not coming back, it's because you have a life now. You've clearly have adulted now. You know, you can't say the same thing for Mark Long, who's like fucking 50 now. So
yeah. Yeah, I like kudos to Laurel for winning, I guess. Like I feel like the only reason she won is because she had those advantages. But at the same time, Kara did have an advantage when she made Laurel go last and have to do that hammer and nail thing.
right.
So like like Kara had an advantage too, but it wasn't like as big of an advantage as being able to skip that final thing in the center, trying to put on the harness and throw those rings up there. Like that was going to take so long. Like you said, like if you had to do that, you were going to lose no matter what. So like Laurel's advantages from getting those stars, it just won her the final. It wasn't because otherwise, I think Steve would have won if there's no advantages, like no advantages at all. Laurel couldn't really get past that puzzle with all the pipes. She was stuck on that for a while, and
Yeah.
that's when like Steve and Kara were like beating her, just about beating her. But then Laurel was able to use her star to get by them, and then she ended up winning it.
Yeah,
So like
I
without those advantages,
yeah, I think she used all her star or no, her first two stars to pass that puzzle, that pipe puzzle, and then her last one to skip the fucking the wire thing, the harness thing. Man. Okay, so she's won. I suppose we should just accept the results. No need to storm MTV, anything like that. And then her yeah, that's the end. I think this season 4 was a big dip. Not too big, but where I'm like, I don't know. The All Stars are usually like my go-to thing when the other mainstream seasons are bad. But this was kind of mutating into like a lame ass season. And it's unfortunate that Laurel could win again, but the fact that she was given all those things at the end was like it just kind of soured the moment. I want to celebrate with Laurel, but god damn it, she's so shitty personality. God damn it. Ugh.
yeah, I don't like Laurel as a person, and then I just didn't like the final as a whole. I don't like the whole setup of it. I don't like the fact that it was just like these, the paintball thing, and then the electrical thing, and then the weird like drinking and then spitting it into a tube. Like that was stupid. And then the three rooms of random challenges, and then you only play one of the games, and then but if you don't do do it fast enough, you're eliminated, even though you're doing something completely different than what somebody else was doing. It's not fair. Like none of this shit was like just have a normal final where you got to run 12 miles or some shit up to the top of a mountain and you have 6 checkpoints and you just say every checkpoint there's a puzzle and at every checkpoint the last person to complete it is eliminated. Just like I don't know, like to me the final is really simple to do, like the whole structure of it, but they keep just adding these weird twists and trying to do this new stuff and it just falls flat. Like I don't know. It was kind of like what was the season that Devin and Tori won against like Bananas and Nani, Ride or Dies?
Yeah, Ride or Dies.
Yeah, it was like the reason like Bananas is great at like just an endurance run, but then all they had to do in that final was you get to the end and it was Bananas and Nani versus Devin and Tori, and there was like you had to stack the concrete blocks in like a puzzle and then like dig through this, and it was like all these weird tasks they had to do, and I don't know, I like I kind of liked that for like an ending part, I guess is okay, but you still need to have all the running beforehand to tire you out so that way you're exhausted and like none of the sleep deprivation stuff. Like that stuff was stupid. Even this one, we forgot to mention it, but there was like weird nets that they had to sleep on.
Yeah,
And
Cargo
then
Net.
yeah, and they just skipped over it. But I was like, well, at least they're not like outside on like the bank of like a lake or a river or something with like, oh, here's a pillow.
Yeah,
Like,
weird. Okay, so I wanted to ask you if we have time, we might not. An awards. Want to get on awards, or do we gotta get going?
yeah, we can do awards quick.
All right, let's do it real quick. All right, let's cover female. We obviously have to nominate Laurel, right? Cara Maria. And these awards is like, 4 people get awards. There's like best female, best supporting female, best male, best supporting male. So but we nominate 5 each and then we choose 2 winners or whatever. So Laurel, Cara Maria, who else you got?
Maybe Avery. I don't know.
Maybe Avery. Sure.
Like,
I we can't forget Cam. Cam was a force.
yeah.
Um, who else we got here? Oh boy, Nicole possibly.
No, I like Nicole didn't really do anything this season. Like she had the one good elimination against Jasmine. That was it.
Right, but then look at other people that could possibly be nominated, and if we're running low. Veronica, she was almost like a non-presence, you know. I think Nicole. I mean, people like her, relationships on TV, you know. I don't know.
I guess.
Okay.
There's no other options, so I guess.
Yeah, even though this was the more stronger female cast, I am kind of running out of stuff because Rachel is barely here to be counted, you know.
Yeah.
All right,
Who do you think
so
wins?
out of these, okay, so we gotta get supporting and best, right? So I think it comes down to Laurel and Cara, right? They were 2 sides of the coin that was the season. So I don't know. This is tough.
I think it has to be Kara, just because Kara was being ganged up on and was in the minority, and she had more stuff going against her, and she
So,
beat Rachel and she beat Cam
good
like
point.
in eliminations, and then Laurel, she was scared to go in an elimination, so that's why I
Yeah.
think I'm giving it to Kara.
So you're saying Cara Maria gets best female and then Laurel gets best supporting?
Yeah,
I'll go with that. Yeah. All right. All right, let's do the dudes. Who do you got nominated? Steve, of course. I thought he was great.
yeah, Steve was great. I think Adam,
All right. He gets nominated. I don't know. I'll put him down anyways.
and then I say like Leroy and Jay.
Leroy. Jay, I don't know. Well then in that case, let's get Derek. I mean, he was good, right?
Yeah, yeah. Derek's definitely deserving. I forgot about Derek.
Let's see here. Ryan, no. Brad, no. Brandon, no. All right, so I guess it's just between these five: Steve, Adam, Leroy, Jay, and Derek. For best, I want to give it to Steve.
I agree. He won eliminations. He was like Car Maria in like the minority where he was getting put into a bunch of eliminations and he survived it and he got to the final and he did really well in the final. If it wasn't for that mental error, he probably would have won it. I think he definitely would have won it if it wasn't for that screw up.
Oh man, yeah, that would have been great. So yeah, Steve wins best. Who's supporting? That's
I
tough.
think it's Leroy.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a good season for Leroy. But at the same time, I don't know like what did he really do in the game. Like he was nice and chill, but he was kind of like riding the coattails of Cam and Laurel and that alliance.
Yeah, I mean, he had the idea of screaming when he wasn't shocked at all, just to psych people up. But then Steve, I loved it because Steve, like everyone's like, "What the fuck's going on?" Steve's like, "He's faking it." Like he just called it, you know. He just could tell. Okay, see, Jay, it's great that he's improved, but I feel like we weren't talking about him until like towards the end before he got eliminated. Derek was consistently just really good, but he just never got to that place of making things work for him. Adam, that's more personality driven. Like I liked his attitude, and then he turned asshole, which it was still nice to watch. Not nice, but entertaining. Leroy, huh? We think still thinking Leroy?
That or Ace, maybe Ace.
Oh, we didn't even nominate Ace. Ace was so
Yeah,
chill, almost too chill,
yeah.
like we were saying.
I love his personality. He's just scruffy. He's like he says he's a construction worker. I was like, shit, like he's the kind of guy I want to be coworkers with, Just like super chill dude.
There was another real chill dude who was a carpenter throughout history. You know what,
Yeah.
dude? I almost kind of want to give it to Ace. Like he was like I liked how torn apart he was whenever he had to nominate someone. I appreciated how gracious he was when people gave him the star to him, you know. And I
Yeah.
liked how even the little act of like releasing the roaches was cool. Best supporting, let's give it to Ace, huh? Yeah.
Okay. I'm all for it. Like Ace, I
Yeah.
liked him beginning to end, and he was there for every episode. Um, and he defended Cara Maria when no one else would, which it takes some balls to kind of stick up for your friend when no one else in the house will.
Yeah, totally. And then what did Carmaria call it? Ace aces in places where he would just randomly be napping at weird positions too.
Yeah, that was so funny. I loved it.
Well, awesome. That's great. Okay, so we have Carmaria best, Laurel supporting, Steve best, Ace supporting. That's great. That's the end of the season. Like, subscribe, comment. This was Battle of the Champs podcast with Vincent Cloud.
And David Lauer.